What if the problem isn't that you haven't found the right solution yet? It's that you're looking for one at all. There's a class of problems in life, in politics, relationships, health, organizations that genuinely cannot be solved. They can only be navigated. The moment you treat them like they can be fixed, you make everything worse. What is a wicked problem? Now, the term comes from design theorists Horst Rittel and Melvin Weber, 1973, originally applied to social policy, housing, poverty, urban planning. The key characteristics of a wicked problem is that there's no definitive formulation. You can't fully state the problem, and there is no stopping rule. You never know when you're done. Solutions aren't true or false, they are either better or worse. And every attempt to solve it actually just alters it. It never remedies it or makes it disappear. It doesn't dissolve. And every wicked problem is a symptom of another wicked problem. So many layers. So this can apply to so many spheres of your life, to your brand, your business, your personal life, to understanding politics, geopolitics, geoeconomics. And I thought it was really important for us to talk about it here. I first discovered it in quite a lot of depth as I began my postgraduate study of systems thinking. I'm currently in the final little leg of my master's. And throughout my 25 years in comms and media, I realized, gosh, I come across these all the time. And I know exactly when a strategy or a campaign or a solution has failed. It's because it's never really appreciated the fact that the problem is a wicked problem. It's one that doesn't go away. There are so many interdependencies. There are so many characteristics that are unchangeable. You just have to learn how to manage it. So let's talk about it here because I just know you can apply this to a sphere of your professional or personal life. Let's take an example where wicked problems, actually live. So there's your mortgage and there's your housing situation. Is it a financial problem? Is it a career problem? Is there a location problem or a relationship problem? In fact, perhaps all four. Perhaps they're all entangled because honestly, every solution when it comes to a mortgage or a housing situation creates a new problem, something else to navigate. Your mental health, not just a chemical imbalance that requires medical intervention or therapeutic intervention, not just a mindset problem that you would fix with the right framework or the right YouTube video. It's a wicked problem because there's biology, there's relational, historical, structural, and financial. All of these are running simultaneously, everything happening at once. What about workplace culture? You can't fix culture by changing one thing. A new policy can create a ton of resentment, and a new leader can disrupt oiled ways of working, as in previous ways of working and even old loyalties. New training can create cynicism if structures still remain the same. A classic wicked problem where every intervention to change the culture can also be seen as interference. What about your career? There may be a skills gap problem, a networking problem, a confidence problem, or all three. Plus, you've got to think about things like timing, luck, the economy, family pressure. There's a very important structural point that we should be aware of here. There's linear problem solving where you identify, you diagnose, and you solve. That is right tool for relatively tame problems. But wicked problems, ooh, they would actually eat that method alive. And why do smart people get this wrong? Well, you see, there is a thinking trap. This is to do with our worldview and the worldviews that we are conditioned with. We are trained by school, by productivity culture, by management theory to find the answer, the single solution, the magic bullet. It's a cognitive and cultural bias. It's not a universal truth. It's someone's bias. So, what it actually produces, this worldview, is premature closure, where you stop looking at something too early, or a false sense of certainty. You announce a solution that doesn't actually work, blame when it doesn't work, someone must be at fault. In the political dimension, politicians who offer grandstanding definitive solutions to wicked problems are either lying or they just haven't understood the problem. Organizational dimension, restructures, rebrands. We can apply this to our own branding in brand and business life. And strategy, all of these things, they don't really help a wicked problem because it can be seen as avoidance just dressed in action. Again, there is an intelligence trap, something to actually be very mindful of. Sometimes high intelligence often produces more sophisticated wrong answers to wicked problems. I'm sure you've come across highly intelligent leaders who are producing more sophisticated arguments, debates, discussions, but they're still wrong answers. So, what does navigating a wicked problem actually look like? Well, firstly, you've got to accept that the problem will not go away. And your job is to manage the conditions, not eliminate the problem. The conditions can be varied. It's why I have my 7 strategic zones and playlists dedicated to each one of those strategic zones, where I focus on each one in turn through the lens of brand, business management, and communications and reputation management. So, for instance, zone one is about our strategic self awareness. It's really important to have strategic awareness of your brand, of how you're communicating and how you're relating to zone two, your interdependencies, your stakeholder mapping. And I'll put the other zones up on the screen so you can see all of them. So, by understanding all 7 of these spheres, and perhaps more if you wanted to define them for yourself, you will accept that there are so many different things going on here in the picture that relate to this problem. And the problem won't just go away. You've got to manage all of these things. And you've got to think about, okay, if I'm going to navigate this problem, then how can I best navigate it with small, reversible moves, things that actually are smart. For instance, with my zone four, you've got to have media literacy and zeitgeist awareness. You want to make small, reversible moves, for instance, with your audience as a brand and business, that really take into account what's currently going on in terms of audience sentiment within your market, within your industry. Rittel and Weber actually talked about this because small reversible moves really help every wicked problem, because every solution that you essentially try to come up with actually ends up just altering the problem. It changes the problem. And then you've got to walk it back, because you see, the wicked problem isn't static. The moment you intervene, the situation will shift. So the problem you thought you were solving is actually no longer the same problem after your solution is applied. And again, why is this? Wicked problems involve human behavior. People react to policies, to designs, to interventions. Their reactions shape the situation, or actually, their reactions will reshape the situation. Complex systems, social, political, economic, and cultural factors all interact with one another. Changing one part will alter the rest. Again, is why I've got my 7 strategic zones. Zone five, your engagement system and content architecture, actually relates to this. No clear boundaries. You can't isolate the problem from its context. So any action ripples outward. And then there is no single correct solution. Solutions are judged as either better or worse. And I've said this, not true and false. So each one will shift the landscape and again present you with something that you have to then take in and re navigate. So small reversible moves are really important. It's also really important to have multiple framings simultaneously, all at the same time, to hold several definitions of the problem at once, not just one. And I've even done a video about how it's important to hold more than one idea at a time. And it's also why I'm writing a book called Many Things at Once. And you can find out more about that in the description. Feedback loops, something that I became even more familiar with once I started my MSc in systems thinking. And feedback loops, essentially, navigating means reading that your interventions are doing, understanding what your interventions are doing, understanding what they're adjusting, even. So if you do this, what do you get out of it? And what are the where are the feedback loops in your interventions? What are they telling you? What is the intelligence there? And so these feedback loops are sort of a design tool within your system, within your sort of intervention system, that can give you a lot more intel, that allows you to iterate and navigate in a more intelligent way rather than deploy, plan, and then assess at the end of the year, which again is it's linear, it's also very one dimensional. Also, what helps is to redefine success. So, is it, ah, this is going to be solved, or could it be better managed, or reduced harm, or more stable with wicked problems? You could definitely bring in my 7 strategic zones here, because this kind of non-linear application is exactly why I designed them, to understand, for instance, your risk readiness as a brand and your reputation design while you're approaching wicked problems can not only help provide you with a lot more preparation and protection when having to navigate very rich and risky wicked problems, that is multi-layered and definitely involves trends and very topical issues all at once. And so, again, it's really helpful to get that zoom out, which is what my 7 strategic zones encourage you to do. And as well as all my content actually here on Serena's Playbook, in order to level up our strategic thinking, we've got to learn ways to zoom out and do the non linear application. This is harder. This is way harder than just solving. It requires a tolerance for ambiguity, and it requires you to stop needing the closure, to accept the messiness of a situation. Why is any of this useful? And it's probably why I'll talk about it on my current affairs channel and even my personal channel, where I talk about holistic issues and approaching things in a much more holistic way. When you stop trying to solve a wicked problem, you actually stop wasting energy on the wrong effort. Here's a controversial take. It will actually stop you hoping for the wrong thing, because you can expend a lot of energy hoping and anticipating an outcome. And when it doesn't happen, a great deal of disappointment not only occurs, but then you've also got to manage the expectations of those whose expectations have raised as a result. Also, when you stop trying to solve a wicked problem, you start asking different questions. What can I manage here instead? What can I stabilize? What's getting worse that I can actually slow down in order to improve all other conditions? Asking different questions can provide you not only with a better outcome, but it can lead you away from that linear or even binary thinking. We see this in shock jock politicking and political commentary. We see it all the time, even in the mainstream media. You can also start having different conversations when you are approaching a wicked problem and not trying to seek an immediate solution. Your conversations with partners, colleagues, therapists, advisors, they become much more richer, and they're not all about finding an answer. It's about deepening your understanding. This is definitely not defeat. What this is a sort of a much more precise and effective way to approach life and all the complexity within it. Again, whether it's business, your brand, your life as a creator, student, professional, person. This is the sort of area of expertise that I really enjoy in my working life as a consultant, as a creator, as a trainer, and as a writer, many things, many, many things. And you can find a lot more of this kind of content on my Thinking Better playlist. I'm kind of playing with a change from Think with Serena to Thinking Better. So you can check that out. It's in a podcast. But I really want to know from you, is there a wicked problem that you are currently trying to solve that may just need some management instead? Why am I asking that? Because again, due to the kind of conditioning that we've had through education, productivity, all of these things, we have tried to fast track all of our problem solving and our approach to problems. And by doing that, not only have we applied the incorrect, not quite fitting approach to that wicked problem, we've also lost the opportunity to appreciate all the different facets, the rich context of a wicked problem, because wicked problems can actually provide us with a lot more insight and intel. And when you do approach a wicked problem in this way, in a non-linear way, not only do you learn a lot more about the the multi-layered, multifaceted nature of a wicked problem, but you do learn a great deal more about yourself, your abilities. It's brilliant for diplomacy, and it's a very enriching, developing experience. So I want to encourage you to take on board the insights and tips that I've provided you in this video to apply to your professional and personal life. It can be the answer for a lot of our dilemmas, for a lot of the things that really stress us out, because we're constantly seeking a solution, we're constantly seeking a fix. And there are many things in our life where there is a great deal of complexity. There are many things in life and in the world where there is a great deal of complexity, where it's really important that we understand, we appreciate, that we explore, and we navigate to understand, to relate better, to ask questions, and also not necessarily just jump to the fix. Because then what? So that we can, again, there is a real psychological dimension here. Is it for certainties that we can just come back to a comfort zone, a place of no change, a place of everything should just remain the same as it is? Is it for control? Is it for certainty? When that's not possible, remember, you can even fall into an intelligence trap where you've just come up with even more ideas and they're just more wrong answers. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you here. Welcome if you're new, and thank you for your support if you're a returning viewer. And do let me know in the comments again, what kind of problems are you approaching? Perhaps they are indeed wicked problems. Let me know if you decide to do a bit more of a deep dive into wicked problems. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you find. And I'll catch you in the next episode, whether it's about comms, the profession of comms being overlooked. I'm a chartered public relations practitioner. I've been in comms for more than 20 years, or whether it's definitely another Thinking Better episode. Take care.